Friends, buckle in. We're going to be here for a while longer. First map of our final best of 3 of the day is going to go to overtime as well. In the end, M80 to take the first map in this series. And honestly, Emily, there is for quite a bit of time, I didn't know how this one was going to go because honestly, I didn't expect a split following them. I wasn't quite sure what they're fully capable of, even though I've gone back and looked, and they definitely impressed to start things off, but M80 to pull it out in the end.
They definitely were impressive, like you said. The first 5 rounds, I'm like, okay, they came to play. They're ready for M80 and what they've got. But even though they had a strong start and the half was 4-8, M80 is just staying composed, and they took it into OT. But a lot of good things that I saw from All Knights. Lots of back-to-back clutches that kept them in the game, and they really played with their heart out. But I found their play style to be very aggressive. I thought that they had the set plays on their attacking side, which was what was really working against M80, and that was really refreshing to see, Roy.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point, because whenever they were setting the pace on the attack side, it really felt like they knew exactly which fights they were taking. They knew exactly how to punish M80, and that sort of style was working extremely well for them. But as soon as they flipped sides, it was kind of M80 doing the same thing back to them. They were the ones dictating the pace. They were kind of the ones choosing which fights were going to happen and how comfortable Dante felt during these fights. And it did feel like M80 kind of rolled them over. But I do want to say that M80 winning that first map is a really good sign. Like, everything went pretty much wrong for them. They have a huge clutch moments that they lost, and they're still able to come through. But I really do want to see a little bit more consistency and like sort of in their approach on the second map, because the way Dante is playing, he could easily take a map away from them.
Oh yeah, Dante's on fire. He's cooking up something. But M80, like you said, is a team that we know can stay composed. And from the history of me watching this lineup and some of these players, I know them as a team that just needs a little bit of rounds to warm up, right? They just need to get the feel for the play, kind of get more into the zone, and they definitely show that they stay composed. Looking at the rounds, both of them each won one thrifty, and first kill 16 went in favor of M80.
I mean, All Knights, they had a couple of those clutch moments. I think what made the scoreline a little closer, because when we looked once we got the side swap, M80 definitely see posed to take the sooner rather than later. So AK managing to have those clutch potentials. The checks out, and we got to look at the MVPs, the duelists here, because I feel like we talked so much about Dante that we didn't really give Koala the respect for like what he was able to do on the Euro on this map here, Emily. We got the 6 kills. We have a really impressive scoreline as well. We were just like, ooh, flashy neon. Oh my goodness, Dante is amazing, which also true. But we gotta give Koala his kudos too.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when you have that insane 4K that we saw from Dante. I mean, that was absolutely insane. He was weaving and botting, sliding around. He has his ice skates on. But we have Koala Noob, who is on the winning team that won 14-12, went 26-19 on Euro with the 6 first kills, and that's perfectly played from the Yoru, getting the space, being annoying, and also playing really fun mind games.
Yeah, the wild thing about Koala's score is he got 1 kill per round, but it really felt like All Knights were constantly countering him, especially when he was on the defense side. They kept shutting down his plays. They kept kind of like making him very uncomfortable, and Dante felt like he had his number in that first half. So the fact that he still ended the match with 26 kills is insane. But I do also want to draw some attention to the fact that, like, yeah, Koala stats are impressive, but Net, BCJ, Nismo, all these players on M80 had really important moments that sort of saved them the match as well.
I mean, M80, they're known for those moments. The amount of times I feel like I've seen them behind on like a Lotus map or something, and they're able to all clutch up and really be able to pull out a victory is, yeah, they've been here before, and now they got the first map in the series and have the opportunity to close it out into, especially looking ahead at the next map. This is something that they are pretty easy to say quite comfortable with. There is, but people fear this map coming up.
Yeah, I was gonna say saying quite comfortable on this map feels like an underselling of how strong they are on this map. So many teams in North American Challengers were terrified to play them on this map. It was almost like a ban in almost every single one of their series because of their composition is so versatile, and the fact that, you know, Koala is a very flexible player. He's able to play Omen on this map and have virtually no loss of impact, makes them very weird to play against on this map because you still maintain the elevation that you would have with Jet, but at the same token you have the extra layer of smokes, you have the extra layer of kind of like counter utility that allow this map to start functioning in like a more awkward sort of pace that a lot of teams aren't used to on this map.
And a big discussion point that we've had today with a lot of the maps is we haven't necessarily seen this team in a bit, or we've never gotten to see this team. What are they going to be bringing? Whereas Icebox for M80, this is something that like we know better than anyone. All these teams know better than anyone. So for this to be the next pick in the series, Emily, I think for All Knights and for All Knights fans, this is definitely a scary prospect ahead of them. They definitely showed that they're capable of shooting. Like their mechanical skills are nuts. They're capable of this.
Yeah.
They definitely have a tall mountain ahead of them.
Yeah, they're going against M80's map choice. They have a 75% win rate on Icebox, which is incredibly strong. Maybe they didn't get the memo that Roy got of how everybody was afraid to play them on that map. So if not, then, you know, they left it open for a reason. And I seem to keep on saying this, but they just had a lot of time to prepare on them. If it is one of their stronger maps, sometimes you can use that as your favor being the opponents. That means that you know exactly what they're going to be doing. We didn't see agent select difference in the first map from an M80, so that's telling me maybe they're going to stick to their game plan and have the same one, but I guess we'll find out soon for Icebox.
I mean, when I think back to Icebox and how strong it's been for M80, I wouldn't think so. But then again, when they're willing to pull out the triple Sentient Lotus, you never really know what they're thinking. But I am intrigued with exactly how All Knights will fare into this. Because when I look at Icebox, even though we're definitely hyping up M80 on this map, I don't think that All Knights looks bad on Icebox by any means, especially to the comp that they're playing. Especially annoying, they have that Harbor Viper here, Roy, so they definitely are capable of playing this map. When they lost in the grand finals, this was a very close match, losing 11-13. So they are capable. It's just whether they can do it against one of the best on Icebox we have in tier.
Yeah, most definitely. And the double controllers, I mean, on both sides, right? But specifically for All Knights with the Harbor, it kind of makes things a little awkward in the sense that like you have an extra layer on your retakes of like having two separate walls that are layered on top of themselves or like spread out. And then once you get on the side as well, you have sort of the barrier cove, and it kind of allows you to put a lot of pressure on the spike and force these teams to make, you know, mistakes. But again, it's M80. They're not really the type of team that they're just going to fall back and play for spam all the time. They're willing to kind of intermingle their styles. Like they're willing to hold sites with the Omen, and they're willing to play off when the time comes, so they can sort of do both. And I think it's really going to come down to like the battle of the ops, because Koala will pull the op out on the defense side, and it's, you know, Harbor does pair kind of well into that with this extra layer of, you know, push walls and sort of waves. But how much pressure can you really remove from Koala? Because you tried that on the first map where like you kind of countered him and he still had 26 kills by the end. So it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, and we'll get the opportunity to see Dante over on the Jet, and Dante already had a great performance in that first game. So just how much impact can be made on Icebox there. But as we're getting set up for the series, we got to make sure our players are ready. It's quite late over there, so while they're getting their coffees, and while we get our coffees, and you should too, we're going to be taking a quick break. And on the other end, Game 2 of M80 versus All Knights.
The game starts long before the game starts. And warm hands are faster hands. Gain the upper hand and power up your pregame warm-up with Zippo hand warmers.
face. came through with it again. They know that I got spirit with a pen. Don't know why they try to compete when they know that in victory it's never gonna end. Them and a weak, that's why they could never speak. They ain't like me, I take it to the peak. Different type of steeds that I breed. Wheel up on the mic, they won't get one of these. Please, I don't wanna hear no talk from them. I don't wanna see nothing at all from them. They can't do it like me. So all I wanna see really is a round of applause from them. Vibes in the air, we caused it again. Life isn't fair, but we rode it again. All of my teams being ready for the war, there's no warning for them. Tell them again, I ain't here to make up no friends. I just came through yet again. We look, you never got one of them. Top of the pound yet again. They can't stop this child not again. Reigning champ, I won't lose it. So you know I'm gonna win that again. Tell them again. Tell them again. Tell them again. Tell them again. I ain't here to make up no friends. I just came through yet again. We look, you never got one of them. Top of the pile yet again. They can't stop this child not again. Reigning champ, I won't lose it. So you know I'm gonna win that again. Tell them 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 again. I ain't here to make up no friends. I just came through yet again. We look, you never got one of them. Top of the pile yet again. They can't stop this child not again. Reigning champ, I won't lose it. So you know I'm gonna win that again.
about time to get it. It's about time, not forget it. It's about time. Never gonna get up now. Never gonna stop now. Whoa, you roll with me. Whoa, you roll with me.
everyone, we are back. Sorry, it's late, so we had to get some caffeine, and you all know how long a French press coffee takes. But we're back, we're in our seats, and I'm getting word that our players are as well. A reminder, final series of the day, M80 are up 1-0 in the series after an overtime win on All Knight's map pick. And now we're looking at Icebox, which is one of M80's best maps. One that's very much so scary to go up against. All Knights have shown that they're capable, but do they have what it takes to take it to a map 3? Let's head over to our Blacklight Agent Select and find out what they're going to be bringing into this matchup. Roy, these are both known quantities from the teams, or they were. It's going to be All Knights to throw a little bit of a wrench in the plan. Dante was going nuts last series, so I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I'm also excited for this. I think the ISO is a really cool pick. If I remember correctly, this is sort of the old EG comp from this year, right? If I remember correctly. So I think we're going to be seeing some familiar stuff from probably inspired by the EG roster. I do think ISO is a very, very strong pick on Icebox. But again, no changes from M80. They're running the same composition. So it's going to be a nice, good old fundamental play here from the M80 side.
What I'm really excited about with this ISO was an issue that I had with Dante in the last map was some of these rushes that he would go for and he wouldn't get the kill, and it was kind of hard to trade him at times. Whereas with the ult for the ISO, being able to take those engagements, I'm so excited for this. I think this is potentially a really good pick for them. But M80, they're strong on Icebox. They definitely have their work cut out for them. And it's time to head into it and head on over to our casters for map number 2.
Here we go. Once again, we are back. Are you caffeinated?
Never.
Never?
I survive on water and whimsy.
Whoa. I need caffeine and whimsy to get through this, but we actually have a very interesting mechanism now from M80. A taunt coming out from All Knights. The ISO may be a bit of an ego pick at times, but the most important thing is that, remember, M80, they have been dominant in America. But the last time they lost a series was back on this map, losing out to a collegiate team of Berlin way back in June. Now, the important thing to remember, adding context, is that was the first series that net was added into the roster. Adjustments needed to be made. Since then, M80, they haven't lost. But they did squeak away a win back on Sunset, so this is the opportunity to keep that streak going. And plenty of time has passed 10 regs since we had that loss from M80. It's time to see what kind of homework All Knights have brought out.
Yeah, it's not like M80's Icebox is invincible, really. They have shown weaknesses against the teams that they have played since their loss to Blinn Esports in North American Challengers. But I don't think they've come up against a comp like this. All Knights, like you said, if Dante Go Kill was a composition, I am looking at it right now. This is a very out-of-the-blue pick that you could only give to one guy, one kid, to potentially save this game. Save this map that is, again, M80's choice, the one that they are, at the end of the day, more comfortable with, more confident in, and one that they will begin the attack on. Koala Noob, the first to jump on in. He's been taking the Omen role with this composition, while BCJ still on that Gecko. And it will not result in a plant on attempt number 1. The whole gang's here for the intercept.
But hey, look, a minute left on the clock now. Still plenty of time to reroute out of B main, go back to A.
Here.
Smoke's available, at least one for Koala. On the timer, sure.
Going up.
But that being said, though, this Viper wall has a timer of its own. Going for attempt number 2 now. It's gonna be the sprays through the wall. But look at this, M80. They're a team that does not like the respect the wall. They push up aggressively, take that space back. But that ISO is already set up and ready.
Let's watch Dante. Cam on him. 1 down. Now with the armor and a whole party to help him out. It is a death ball from All Knights to take back over B site and absolutely demolish round 1.
Important to note, too, going back to the ISO pick from Dante, we have historically seen some interesting choices on this map in the past. Roy talked about it on the desk. I mean, we could go as far back as the inception of this map to talk about how Reyna has found records of acolytes, finding so much impact on this map in terms of kills. But even recently, too, we will see Deadlock comps, Reyna comps, Reyna Gecko comps, Reyna Deadlock comps. Really just so many different puzzle pieces that could come to the same conclusion to fight up against a team like M80. But the fact that we've seen that flashiness from Dante to start things off already has been pretty good. It still means M80 has a hill to climb, but it's not an unfamiliar one.
And this isn't too different from the playstyle that they normally use because it's very rare that Dante Deus is this by himself. May certainly look that way when he's playing Neon, but that's just because he gets to run a lot faster than everyone else. When he's running the marathon with the rest of his team on Icebox, he will be the pacemaker. Sabando, the opener on the defense this time around, is once again it's a B press default from M80. This time, little guy is going to get the whole dang job done, but not get too many more steps in after it. Verso from Snowman, Smokeless, M80 is now down to 4.
Just using that same wall against them for the post plant. Firing straight through the Viper to find so many intact kills. 2 left alive, Xander, Nat, what can you do? Not a whole lot when you're triple swung. It leaves Nat to be the last one left with nothing more than a Sheriff. And plenty of heads that have yet to be popped. 2 now for AK, a great start for All Night.
Really great start indeed. Nico Machine farming up a couple orbs in the meantime has been doing a great job of playing keep away as these controller and initiator duos take over. And of course, Adverso has been that back line through and through here. Don't get it twisted, Tinchoff's just the guy outside. It's Nico who comes to collect. He intentionally holds off on using a lot of his utility when you'll see All Night's exec, just so he can use it in the mid-rounding. A lot of bravery and trust to your teammates when the util is divvied up beforehand. And a lot of the time here for AK it is. Sabando even more forward this time on the half-witted bonus, but Nico will do the same, and with the stack on A site, they'll be successful on the lurker. Net unable to perform this round, as it's another B press for M80.
Maybe wondering why M80 is so keen to go for these BXX over and over. No smokes, very little flashes available for All Night in the post flank here. A gigantic swing 10 wreck. And even then, it's still All Night to come out the victor on their bonus buy.
A spray war that is easily won by the ones holding the whole angle, and BCJ bullied by the wingman before he can get a word in edgewise. What a stunning 3-round sequence from All Nights that shows their absolute dedication to gatekeeping B-side.
Big rifle round from M80 shut down. We talked about how much of a benchmark that would be at the beginning of Sunset. That was a round that M80 had won. But with All Nights, they have certainly done their homework, and that was the big scare factor that we were wondering going into this. They chose a map that, historically speaking, M80, they are dominant on, more so than Sunset. And yet here we are, 3 rounds down, possibly looking at the precipice of an eco depending, a timeout, depending on how the eco the next few rounds can look.
There was a lot invested, but to call this early. After you've done the same thing 3 times in a row, you can't. You gotta try something else before you go for the time.
You gotta be looking at this round if it doesn't go in M80's way, or even the 5th. Going 0-5 at worst, that's when you have to start making a change.
Yeah.
It's a broken buy from M80. It's not the worst in the world. Few Vandals on board here, but their approach to A is a good start. Look at where BCJ is. Way back over on B. This could be an attempted flank one way or another, big macro play. Still plenty of time to manipulate the rotations of All Night on the clock. And they're barely moving.
Yeah, Sabando's gonna stay stalwart here. I don't know about that call to plant BCJ there when Sabando's already been playing so forward. And you know they have the gun diff now. Yeah, nothing gonna be gained from that except maybe forcing Tinshop to lean over a little faster, but it's not like he was gonna be there for the post-plant fight anyway. Rest of AK is, though, to support Dante Deus, and Net can't even get the shot down! Nico Machine has the whole damn site to himself! 4 kills! And All Night's 4 rounds.
Bro is a machine. Holy shutdown potential. And the desk talked about way back earlier today about how Nico is such a great flex. Oftentimes on maps like Bind, you'll see him being that entry raise and not Dante. Everyone on their team has so much fragging potential, and we'll see that round after round. It's really a battle of highlights between these two. But so far, yep, there it is. Round 4 timeout. I should say the round 5 timeout now. 0-4, M80. They've been able to find space, they get the consistent plant down, they can keep their money alive doing so. But they have yet to win this post plant, surely because of the space given by All Night.
Yeah, it's just not. There's just one corner that has yet to be cleared each time. And then M80 have decided to take a pack fight against a team that clearly is able to go bar for bar with them. I am really amazed that M80 is still going for these double, triple swings into sites where it's clear you need to have a couple, I don't know, like a flurry of punches behind it. Which makes me even more terrified for how All Knights are going to attack this. Because All Knights, they have that segmented util. They have that ingrained in their team structure. And usually it's Nico Machine who's holding on to that util until the bitter end. Guy got to dump it all this round and pad his stats to get himself up to a 6-0-0 clean KD going into round 5. I mean, what a showcase for this team. Map 1, we really thought they used it all, but they're not close to done.
I mean, remember, M80 is one of the more structured teams that we've seen back in America. And even they can be good to have that firepower to shut down very aggressive teams. So many have tried this year, and each one of them have failed. M80 are going to make this approach back yet again to A. Viper Wall dividing out the site, a great post-plant option to keep M80 back.
Big push immediately in M80. Close range fights, isolated with the help of that opener smoke.
Spike planted.
Koala Noob getting a little more active with that util. Good for the long run. And now M80 can play the game that they were trying to play for the past 4 rounds, but they just could not get the time window. This time, AK, not much to offer. Tinchoff is coming from the flank, but Sabando has been cleared, sterilized as his sight. M80 will butterfly away and break the curse.
I don't think butterflies can exist in the snow. But this was pretty ice cold plays coming out.
Dude, you're on fire today.
Oh, well, the map isn't, but I mean, so, yeah.
Wow! Boom, 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 boom.
Thank you. But no, overall now, M80, a successful round in their pocket is a really good start. But your leaders have fallen, and your anchors were the last ones left on B site. Yep. A big brazen display just pushing up and taking maximum space from M80 is usually the alternate that they find. Now, remember, this is M80 without a native duelist. They don't have a jet. They don't have a raise to take that elevation. Instead, again, Koala on the Omen has more utility and a little bit more of a laid-back style to help the rest of the team push in. Keep that in mind why the pacing may seem slow.
And separate.
Yeah.
Look at where we're going.
I mean, at this point, right, you could be looking at Koala soon to be getting into the shadows, right?
Yeah.
Teleport across the map any which way you want to go. That allows M80 to work the map a lot more. But if critical pieces fall early on, that becomes so scary. Imagine M80 losing Xander immediately, right? You don't want that. But you do have Nismo. Null command now, shutting down utility, any of that prowess on B site. That should allow the fast plant, but All Night, they just wait for that wall to come back up the spray through.
Oh, Xander timing is so great on this window to catch the first in Nico, and now the mid-fight continues. Xander, a little bit of a brave peek, but he is out of there, waiting for who next can collect on him. Sabando reveals himself, but doesn't fully kill, and so much time and resources is being spent on Xander! M80, free passage, so much time wasted here on the B plant. What can All Knights do except have Dante just frontline? How many can you get? With a paranoia, nothing at all. M80 clear house and grab a second round.
Oh, the preparedness out from M80. They are all set up for the post plant. They know what to expect. Big, massive props into this round for Xander. Really good push and a great delay outside of top hall to ensure the massive rotate not only was identified, not only was weakened down, but the fact that he single-handedly had stalled and could control his team to be like, hey, I found where they're all at. This is what we need to focus on in the post plant.
All of them, bro.
It was huge.
They were all there.
But, I mean, we didn't see M80. Well, we saw them towards the end take a little bit more solo plays. But these lurks and working the map is a gigantic weakness that All Night could have. They'll have to start re-clearing a whole lot more. We focus so much on Dante, but as an ISO, that is your job, rather than hunting down these immediate picks.
So they'll stand alone, waiting for the rest of the team to get something done. Sabando, yet again, very aggressive, but now with the help of Nico Machine, who has yet to be found out. Great line! Found onto Xander. Punch to the gut for M80's attack here in round number 7. And Net unable to make much headway on A in the meantime. That is where Tinchoff's util is set up this round.
Still back over on A, though. Look at all that utility Tinchoff has set up. the alarm bot for the left side, the double nanoswarm directly for default. All of that just to delay. 50 seconds left.
And they will still entry exec. A lot of util being spent here for M80, but it's what you gotta do to guarantee that everything's cleared. Which I guess they still haven't yet. And you still gotta deal with the steps to make sure that Koalanu gets out of here scot-free. And he'll actually insert. What a turn from Koalanu, but taken by Dante's ultimate, who will instantly win it. God, speed running the ultimate. So we can get back to the fight, which is now a 4v3. Make it a 5v3, make it a 5v2. All Knights keeping everybody stable. Zero troubles in the bomb. Oh my God, Dante. Dude, just take the steering wheel from me, man.
Unbelievable.
Just take it.
Watch,
Deus, take the wheel.
Watch the recoil control on Dante's shots. Like, he doesn't spray too often. He does a lot of burst firing, but the crosshair placement mixed with just the raw accuracy of controlling his rifle is unbelievable. But remember, All Night, a flashy, very important round for them to win off the hands of 2 ults used. They brought out the Thrash, that brought out ISO's kill contract. They found so much value out of removing physical bodies and capabilities away from M80. They're not going to have that again. Roy mentioned on the desk, op versus op. When will we see it? If we will see it. But at least Koala Noob is equipped and prepared.
And ready to hand it off. Should this first line not work?
Been missing shots today.
Yeah. Not as consistent with this op as he'd like to be, for sure. And so M80, they'll have to go window shopping a little bit longer, and that's enough time for Dante Deus to say, I'm getting a little bored. Let's go fight. Looks out mid with shield, unable to find Promise, and we'll duck back again, seeing if he could catch someone lurking. But All Knights, they'll stay patient, they'll stay respectful, especially up here in the mid channel as this orb goes on, but ultimately, it'll be a pull towards A site, one that All Knights should be able to read.
Remember, we haven't seen slow rounds like this on Icebox from M80 since the days of Nitro. That being brought in, the shakiness of when they fought Blend, the last time they consistently lost the series, maybe coming back to fruition. They're only 3 rounds behind, but they still make their way back to A. Viper's Pit could have been enabled, but they stopped. Oh, they're gonna double down again. They fake the plant to dump the util, and now there's nothing to stop them to get it down.
Yeah, now they're able to unleash everything here.
Oh!
Hunter's Fury, not guesswork, and Verso! Amazing timing and tags!
Another!
Rest of the damage can be done from a distance here, and All Knights have played the clock impeccably.
Down by
The pit
2.
still goes, but a 5v3, very winnable for All Knights. BCJ on high, unstoppable for 1, but only 1. Smoke directly outside of the pit. Xander, minor position giveaway, but there's enough time to back it up. Deus rounding out the back, making sure no one's on belt, no one's on spawn. It's all happening in the ultimate. Perfect timing to step out for Xander to find at least 1, and 2 more on top of that, but there's enough firepower from All Knights this time around to get them to 6.
Firepower's unbelievable. Big round for Adverso. I mean, the Hunter's Fury. What was that? A triple delay against M80's plant. A critical kill off of it. And then on top of that, 3 more. I mean, look, again, to reiterate, we talk about Dante a lot, but every single one of these players in this lobby have had their standout moments in this series alone. And we're barely starting map 2. But what can you do this time? A potential split yet again. We saw this work so well before. Xander was the one lurking off halls on B. But this time it's the whole team back at it again. Added difference this time. Koala Noob gets the opening pick. Can also ult backside for info. Net, post plant, lockdown available. A lot of ults to clear that space. A big struggle for M80 so far. They can just shove away these defenders for a little bit and breathe.
Good attempt by Tinshoff. The timing was so great, but the shots unfortunately were not.
Can't use that.
And M80 will refuse to overextend after the mishaps of the previous rounds that have been lost. Dante, in we go. Double tap, up and going. Onto yellow, perfect flash timing for Nismo to stay up. And now has the second angle against a very powerful All Knights that are still able to make this pretty even. Verso in the 1v2, and he's won these before. Koalanu behind the block as BCJ gets felled.
One smoke.
For the 4K, for the round. He can't get it done. Koalanu clutches up, and M80 will get a 3rd.
such a close affair from M80. Each of these rounds are looking really scary. But
Terrifying.
really, yeah, terrifying. But big reminder too, lockdown still available for net. Big win condition could have been for All Knights is to have that ult go down. Even if it's a round loss for the team, they still have enough ahead. Worst case scenario though is that Koala and M80, they hold on to their ults quite a bit more and can stack them up for yet another round. And guess what they'll do? Thrash is available on top of the lockdown there. Could be another ult dump like we just saw from All Night just a few rounds ago. To secure one very easily. Oh, especially with the raid boss of A gone and Verso's removed. Oh, make that choice over.
We are suddenly amping this speed right back up. All Knights went from 0 to 100 and M80. The gas is still slammed. But the sight, yet to be. BCJ is just now on, and he's been a bit patient with these spike drops, I'll say. But it's all to make sure that this fight is dealt with in 2 separate chunks, both of which M80 can take an advantage. And with the help of that flash, M80 are able to make a clearance the first time around. And atop the lockdown, it will need to be a full reset for Sabando. Potentially a save with all the time that's wasted because of it. And in fact, off he scurries. It'll be a 6-4 game. But with how much in the tank left for M80, still a good amount of ults and a new mentality. They are not looking back.
Great ult economy overall from M80. They're handling and cycling it so well. Oh? I mean, there's no attempt to defuse. But just, you know, getting a little bit more in the pocket wouldn't be too bad either. I'm really curious to see how... Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good thing he didn't attempt to go for it.
Right.
Sabando, what's he gonna do with his Viper's Pit into this next round? Surely, 9 times out of 10, you'll see defending Vipers pre-place it, say, B main or shut it down A main for denying orb control, but I can't imagine All Night wants to play that stationary early into a round. This has to be a post-plant ult.
Yeah, with how aggressive he's been getting in B lane, I think it's definitely going to be a post-plant pit. And I mean, All Knights is very comfortable with engaging off of that setup as well. They can take the 3-4 seconds that they're a little bit vulnerable and explode from either Heaven or, I assume, Kitchen probably is where they'll end up going from there for that take back. But they have 2 rounds to find the right opportunity to do it, and it might not come their way, especially if M80 are, again, as brazen and fast as they have in these past 2 rounds.
Yeah, but they've been taking down critical pieces before they can act so brazenly too.
Yeah.
And Verso last round, and Dante before that, right? I mean, just you get rid of critical figures, then you go for your execute. M80 are playing for, well, I don't want to say they're playing for picks, but they're playing for the momentum of what they can control in a round. If Dante's still on the board, they know they gotta fight. This kid does not care. He will go for anything regardless of circumstances for the highlight plays. And believe me, I've seen on social media, it's already blowing up with some of the amazing flicks that he's been able to accomplish this series. And don't worry, there'll be plenty more to come.
One of the best parts of Ascension is introducing the North American crowd. And, of course, the other America's crowds. Yeah, really, to these players from these Challengers regions that normally wouldn't have the luxury or time to pay attention to. Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it? Sabando, same position he's been sticking in on this B lane, and yet the pit goes up now.
Okay, but that's so stationary. You would think M80 could then start working the map mid to B, mid to A, just straight up A. But Koala Noob has ult. They could identify exactly where the Viper is, point them out, and instantly slay this beast.
Oh, that's nasty. I love that idea. Well, that's why Tinshov's here. So just stave off whatever gets thrown in, and there's a lot thrown in already, absolutely overwhelmed, and the TP indeed coming in. Tinshov has to hold down what's left of the pit itself, and he's able to do a pretty good job before the rest of the team comes through, and Verso waiting with the Hunter's Fury. That's 2 more picks with this guy's ult. How consistent he's been this game so far, and how much of a panic Koala Noob is in the 1v3 inside his smoke, and with basically 0 time to get this spike down. He just barely will, though, as the rest of All Knights come screaming back on the retake. Smoke back down on yellow, so Koala can waste a little bit of time, but Dante spots the gap and kills it. All Knights up to 7.
That was just a laser beam from Dante. That was so risky, but I love the idea of what Koala chose to do instead of ult directly into the pit. He went behind the pit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking he'd do.
Yeah, cleared out yellow for the site, and then allowed the crunch for the rest of his team to, well, in theory, unlock the entirety of the pit. Problem is, though, that didn't work. Everybody inside the pit dissolved for the most part, and it left Koala to be the last one left. But I don't think anyone was necessarily expecting Adverso to use the Hunter's Fury so early. That was just the nail in the coffin. But even then, very brazen with their ult usage. It is the last round, and there's still plenty left for All Night. I'm looking at Dante's ult. Very scary in this circumstance.
Deploying drone.
Yeah, especially with these weaker guns, this is where Dante gets to shine and feast. That's been a lot of his role. Oh. Okay.
Oh, hi.
Well, we're just zip-zapping all over.
I mean, I do like the stage. It's really pretty. Okay, Flash is out. This is double Flash outside B main. They're looking to maybe take this space back and enable this caravan over for B under halls. Oh, this is so risky, but it works. What about Kitchen? You have no idea. It's the Thrash. That might be round.
Man. On top of the ISO ult too.
Everybody's
one
stunned.
detained, one domain expansion, both conquered. All Knights fired on all cylinders.
Coming back.
And it'll lead to another 8-4 half if all goes smoothly. But BCJ and Nismo sitting on top of this spike, letting it cook.
Both supposed to hold.
Waiting for Thrash to come back. There it is. Disperse! M80. All right, BCJ has to have the crossfire of a lifetime, and with the ISO wall, he cannot do that. So, AK make very quick work, and again, util conservation, baby, helps to have 3 ults in the back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the ult economy for both teams was fantastic throughout the entirety of that half. All Night, too. Dante finding, I think, 100% success off of kill contract is so impressive, because even if you don't get a kill here, you remove a body like Xander from the field for a considerable amount of time. And it just allows an opportunity, again, say you don't win that fight, to have your teammates stack up about where Xander's soon-to-be corpse could have been and secure the kill anyways. Halftime, though, a really fantastic side from All Night. But as the desk said, this is a momentum-based team for M80. They just need a few rounds to get started.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw how quickly they can execute in rounds, 10, 11? I think it was, where they were fast, they were surgical, and even to an extent, they were alone. The confidence that courses through these guys' veins sporadically this game has been really interesting.
Oh, hello. But even as far back as playoffs, right? We saw hero play after hero play come out from All Night, and it helped secure so many critical finals wins. And it was a brutal one at that, too. It was down to map 5, I think, back-to-back.
Yep. Yeah, map 5 against Rita, and then map 5 against Cholos. What a tournament that turned out to be for them.
And look, I'll be honest with you, Rita were looking unbelievable going into this tournament, and they still are. A bit of an upset early on today, but all of the teams fighting for the Ascension spot were very aggressive and very, very contact heavy. And so my fear going into this tournament was M80 and TSM, but most importantly TSM, would they be able to handle the overwhelming amount of action that these teams could bring? TSM, well, they did a pretty good job, even if it took 8,000 overtime rounds. M80, I'm shocked to say this, dude, but they've looked like the shakiest team I've seen today.
They did. I 100% agree with you. Shakier than Rita, to an extent.
To be fair, though, let's add a little bit more context, right?
It's on and off. It's a little bit touch and go.
It's not necessarily just M80 though. Like if you're going into this tournament, what's the one team you're gonna VOD review to high heaven?
Oh yeah.
Every
100%.
little micro protocol nuance strat, right? They have a microscope above them.
Group stage turning Valorant into a battle royale. And M80, unfortunately, has the bounty. All Knight's first attacking round, their pistols have not looked shaky in the least. And yet again, they look to swarm. Dante with that front line. How many you reckon he gets this time?
Oh, it depends on how fast M80 want to take this. Slow caravan back over towards mid side. Look how deep King Chops KJ turret is though. Past the Viper wall. No immediate threat detection coming out from the attack on this post plant flank. It's going to be Adverso.
One poking ahead out. first to do it, and it's just in time against Net. Milliseconds left on that double tap timer, but it's enough to gain early advantage, and All Night spring the trap. Erso running back from lane to detain the remaining members of M80 a little bit more, coming on the flank. Yeah, what a fun little white guy scooch. Excuse me, just gotta get past you real quick. Head back over to mid and meet the rest of my team. As Nismo gets half a defuse for free, and Nismo and Xander are winning their fights. A little too much right now. Xander is able to clear away everything with the wide angle, as All Night's apparently allergic to crossing that toxic screen for far too long.
I mean, we could have said the same exact thing back over when the sides were flipped. The usage of that toxic screen and how well you can just blast right through it, take those pre-fired angles, and the success factor is unbelievable. Xander, a great 3K to secure things early on, plus the added awareness that there still could be a mid player after Adverso glided by the remaining two players on that mini fight to begin with. It is a battle of awareness and really just the positioning game that's so important for these early rounds. M80, most importantly, I believe, winning their first pistol of the series.
I believe you're right. And in a perfect world for M80, it'll be the last.
Yeah.
But still a ways to go.
3 rounds. I mean, you have to start thinking at this point, right? Okay, 3 rounds of a difference, yes. But if All Nights can get this rifle round down, start bringing that lead even further up, Icebox is a scary map for their playstyle.
Yeah.
Keep that in the back of your mind.
Ooh, spotted! The foot
A.
first and Koala changed sights, but still manages to grab the first. BCJ, the juggle back to prevent the Outlaw from getting into the wrong hands, but it still will. The mosh pit having to settle for the chip damage, and now All Night's attempting to make it work off of this. BCJ, another follow-up pick onto Dante, who again, out a little earlier than the rest of the pack. But AK have the space and the util to make the noise and get the spike down. Sabando follow-up pick on, but M80 have the angles and the manpower to overwhelm and conquer, making it an 8-6 game.
I mean, at this point now, sure, we have a very small sample size of what M80 wants to accomplish for these retakes, but comfortability factor already looking so much more paramount. Net, am I reading that right? 3-11.
Gun here.
For what?
KD.
Oh.
Well,
Jeez.
hold on, though. We'll have to take a look again, investigate this further, but
Yeah.
3-11 for Net. Look at the options that you have in terms of your agents for M82. The attacking side rounds were going to be difficult to begin with. You don't have that space creation of a jet. You don't have the neon. And I mean, look, we saw it earlier this year. You don't have the deadlock to create space, right? And so now this is a defender-oriented team from M80. 3-11's correct. But I have no doubt now, with how much control these agents can have, they should be able to bring that stat line back.
Oh, what a start, Xander! Hey, you were asking for it a little earlier, and it certainly isn't Dante, but it certainly is a fun shotgun. Oh, gotta feel good playing that secondary, Xander. Still able to have some fun with those smokes. And now, M80 free reign over B lane. Don't have to hold a candle to any of these other sites, especially if Koala Noob can silence Tinshoff like that.
Remember again, big reason why we saw M80 lose their last series back in June on this map was because they brought a new player on. They were still figuring things out. The microplay and synergy was way off, and you could tell, very uncomfortable. But 3 months has passed, and things have adapted so much more. Considering the fact, too, Tenrek, that the new player is the lead IGL, the in-game leader of this side.
30 seconds left.
They can control the defense now. With the help of Koala and their positioning, it's all set up to make sure a team like All Nights cannot gain any space. You have to wonder, with a save like this and plenty of time to spare, surely... Okay. Surely this is the beginning of a timeout. Thank you, Nico. Thank you.
They're stressing us out over here, man.
Sleep paralysis demon.
How it feels to play Valorant this late in the night. I mean, even in Monterey, you gotta be hitting curfew. But the war rages on And indeed, the silence this round is deafening for All Knights. As with so much time before we've come back to this, I mean, is there really more than one opportunity All Knights will be able to craft for themselves in these attacks? And really, like you said, with the inability to create as much space with a mobility-based duelist, it's not looking easy. Great shots by Xander! What a transfer!
One enemy remaining.
Self-helping, of course, with the snake bite, but you just can't write this stuff. What a player, and what a showcase to tie things up almost instantaneously.
Oh. Just the shutdown potential is unbelievable. 4K out of Xander. Yeah, I mean, look, I thought the timeout would come out last round. Is it coming out this time? The answer seems to be no.
I think we're just vibing.
Yeah, 8-8. I mean, at this point now, there needs to be a response from All Knights. They have yet to win a single attacking round. Again, Space Creation is their issue too. Their ISO is their duelist. They have a wall, yeah. But it's no tailwind.
And now, now you have to hope that he'll trade off of somebody else. He'll have to, again, be that chauffeur that the initiators are usually used to being too.
Show me a track. It's you and me.
Normally it's driving Miss Dante, but Dante is in the driver's seat, the one place he doesn't want to be. VCJ able to deal with Dante in the midst of the ultimate as well, but pretty swarmed upon by the remainder of the team, so not much more to do from there. Rest of All Knights trying to get on. Tinshoff the first swing, and it's a perfect shuffle that leaves M80 completely swept. Save for Net, who still has 2 more players to go through, and a combined 65 health between them. A very possible clutch for this KJ. No U-tool in the tank, though, and no way to sufficiently clear this. Spike ready to get dropped. Net not necessarily ready to fight just yet.
30 seconds left.
Spike is yet to go down.
He's waiting for the fan out.
The HP is not
I
looking
swear to
good.
God, Tinshoff, if you dry peek this, I will... Okay. So you double up, right? On the recon bolt? No, and Veriso gives himself away immediately on the wide swing. Net has the better of the health pool, but Tinshoff has the better angle. And All Knights will retain the lead by the skin of their teeth.
Barely. Oh, but barely. And it took an aggressive presence from M80 start of round. They took one away, and that was Nico. Could have been a really bad beginning. But from there, it was trades on trades on trades. Now, I have to wonder now, is the pacing going to change from M80 again? Surely they won't play as aggressive as before, right?
I don't think it's possible at this stage. I think you've kind of run out your playbook there. You've got to play off ROM X. You've got to play the psychological game a lot heavier going here, and it starts with bullying. And All Knights would love to do that on A site. Very prone to doing it, especially with this ISO shield just up and running like a bullhorn. And Tinshoff again, the isolator, can catch Koala Noob this time around. Already, All Knights, the tempo shift has been monumental.
All grouped up together. That Viper's Pit is down. We talked about how stationary it was back when sides were reversed. Could have been an easy opportunity for any attacking team to rotate out of it rather than contest. This is the contest. That Viper wall divides out the entirety of B main all through the backside, nearly to Snowman. M80 are waiting on the other side, timing's out. Suppressing knife will find no information. That might be fatal. That might promote the rotate off, but BCJ is still watching.
Right there, throw him up, bud. And he's gonna throw his kid out. That'll be strictly anti-plant. Nico Machine is even gonna let this Hunter's Fury fly, or excuse
30
me,
seconds
Verso.
left.
He's gonna let this fly. To try to cover the fire. M80 still able to lock it away. No molly this time to stop it, so a snake bite combined with a fragment is gonna be what does the job to actually expel Nico Machine, but it is a little bit before the spike is able to get down. Or a little bit after, excuse me. And so M80 still gotta play this out. With so many angles on the post plant, this is just quintessential icebox for you. As Sibando, interesting wide angle to take before the Dizzy is launched up, and it leads to M80 gaining easy fights early on. They're able to swarm the competition off of that and take an easy defuse to tie us back up.
Oh man, 9-9 once more. All Night taking their time, speeding things downwards. So much more. Oh, what an amazing opening pick. You don't see too many players trying to challenge a player like Koala like that so early.
Pretty impressive. Very quick.
And at this point, question marks really about what we can expect to see for the early parts of this next round for the attack. Their speed, where they want to go, how they want to approach. M80 are taking their sweet time now with these retakes. They know they have the advantage. Pause is called, assumingly for All Nights. Figure out what the heck do we do.
Well, unfortunately, I think the endurance game is finally starting to wear off on All Nights. Really. M80, it seems like they're just looking for mistakes at this point that they can poke holes into, and they're finding them honestly, a little quickly. And it comes off of the reads that they've been able to make thus far when it comes to All Nights aggression. Sure, maybe it's not going to be Sibando that's frontlining, but it sure as hell isn't going to be Dante in that situation, so let's go fight. Let's just go give this a try. Stack up. Easy first blood. Who cares if we trade? We have advantage from there. And we can util dump because we're playing strictly for retake.
I mean, you still have to enable Dante though, right? He's the duelist. He needs to be taking these duels so early, not critical utility wielding agents. He needs to still be the first in line. He needs to be that cavalry charge in.
Which is why it's so strange that he's playing ISO.
I get the idea, but I mean, the utility difference. Why one agent alone, right? That's the world of a difference. I mean, to boil it down very basically, right? Like, you're playing with Reyna without a flash. You have the wall,
excellent explanation. Incredible way to explain
it. I mean, that's kind of what it is,
I think that's the perfect way to describe it, especially for Icebox, because really, I mean, your shield is so willy-nilly. Dante is is having to use it so like almost toxically proactive. It's like he's BMing with it, but he's not. He's looking for an opening pick. It'll come from Nico this time around, actually, after BCJ gets caught on a bit of a swift retreat. Tough break, kid. We'll get him next time with the lockdown. Assisting, actually. All Nights this time should be pretty easy. Dante will get on the board before going down, and that should be enough of a clean sweep to force away this Opping Omen. Koala Noob will let the Kyron show us a 10-9 scoreboard, show us All Nights continue their lead.
Could be best case scenario too to have that lockdown used when it's a tied game. There's no other ultimates brought out by M80 that can shut down the lockdown other than just dumping mollies on it, hoping for the best. Now, to be fair though, Nismo is on KO and has the null command capabilities. But we are not going to be available, at least for this round. It's over. But into the next, double digits now are reached by All Nights. 3 rounds away from bringing things to Lotus. M80. They lost this same exact spot in the group stage last year. It was the only series they had lost to a team that wasn't the Guard, now G2.
Yeah, 8 straight matches won since the apogee of net.
Apogee?
I think I'm not elaborating. I used the word correctly. But I think that I really think it's interesting that M80 actually didn't really starkly improve until it actually came to playoffs. They definitely, I mean, obviously they were winning by the time net came around in week 3, I want to say. But even then, the wins were scraped. It was a lot of 2-round maps that they were taking up. It was a lot of like map counter calling, because a lot of North American teams in particular have very shisty map pools where like they'll just lean so heavy on one and just have it so down pat that M80 have had to have a weirdly deep playbook for each of these maps. Icebox is an outlier in which they got diffed when net was new. They came back, they played default, they played Icebox, they scraped out wins against 2 of the best teams in North America. And from there, it seems that what you focus on is just refining your execs, which M80 has appeared to be doing in this off time.
To be fair too, though, M80 has drastically altered a lot of their comps since that acquisition of net, where, you know, we'll see the triple sentinel come out and teams are like, what do we do? And even when you would think positions like that would not work out for M80, even casters way back in those matches would be like, well, this isn't going to be easy at all. It just magically, M80 would be able to stack up and have those protocols and comms together to make what seemed impossible work out so well.
Yep.
You can't bank on that every time.
In a perfect world. Totally unrelated. We
Yeah.
appreciate everybody's patience with our tech pauses today. Opening day of Ascension, obviously, a couple things that sometimes you just can't control. But tech team has been doing a miraculous job of being able to get us back on track more often than not.
Yeah, we're just
really,
chilling.
really incredible how they've been able to just kind of get us back on course so consistently. Among so much newness, new venue, new region hosting an event
me.
like this, new teams. Yeah, new me. I got a new outlook, chat.
Oh,
Things are gonna be
glass
okay.
half full.
I mean, that's how you approach this if you're M80, because you can't just say, well, guess we're 50-50ing, because that's what it feels like a lot of the layman will say, when you're this deep into the game. Well, guess I just have to aim diff. Oh.
I mean, you have Dante, who's been quite literally aim diffing. And okay,
Right.
maybe it's not just Dante, but I mean, Verso has been doing well. Everybody really has had their highlighting moments to be able to have those wild 4Ks.
Yeah, I mean, even Tinshoff.
Xander.
Yeah, no, I was going to say even Tinshoff has had his chance, and his job is literally to not be a part of the team fight most times. So
Yeah.
everyone's really had their shining moment today. It's really awesome.
And Xander has been, that primary IGL, right? He's the mastermind, right? We talked about how there's a lot of calling on both sides from different people, but it's really Xander who's that head honcho within the team himself, and he's still finding a lot of impact.
Yeah.
Normally they're way out yonder just trying to either micromanage everything or making sure that all the strats go out well. There's a lot of different philosophies. But 9-10, a big pause once more. M80 figuring out, all right, well, we have this time to kind of simmer things down and figure out, all right, maybe this will give us an opportunity to level the playing field in terms of mechanical.
That's a lot of what these pauses do. The toll that it takes on some of these players sometimes.
I mean,
'Cause,
yeah, look
yeah,
at
I
him.
mean,
He's devastated.
Yeah, no, Nico is super panicked right now. You can tell All Night's very anxious group of individuals, very clearly not a happy bunch, who don't have a lot to say. M80, and that's the other thing that makes these two teams so damn similar, right? Is we've been talking about two sides of the same coin this whole time, and I think more than anything, it's just how both of these teams carry themselves. These teams are loud. I would give anything to be in the venue in Monterey right now.
They're actually M80 and All Nights.
Okay. All right. You got me this time, but I'm on the lookout now.
Oh man, but no, you're completely right. Both these teams have definitely styles that you can really see a lot of that personality shine. I mean, we talked about how the different players of All Nights, they will play very aggressively and take those timeouts to reel themselves back in. Whereas M80, they have usually the opposite issue where they play slow, take that timeout, and change the pace considerably faster and lead that charge back into a site, especially on their attacking side. But M80, they are the top dogs going into this matchup. Well, okay, this tournament. They have won 8 series in a row. And again, the last time they had lost was back on Icebox, way, way, way back. But going, again, back to Ascension last year, a returning team in this same venture. They lost only to one non-Americas team, and that was the Union back in the group stage, the same exact spot they're in now, their opening day. And it's so weird again because there's been a lot of these, I'm trying to think of the word, like identical things that have happened, like repeating patterns.
Yeah.
Oxygen, right? A team that I thought was surefire to get into Ascension alongside M80. They were eliminated the same exact spot in the bracket they were last year. The same exact spot. And M80, I mean, they could be repeating the history trends too. Now, we did get word that it should only be about another minute or so.
Don't say that. Why would you say that?
Well, maybe I just want to continue
Don't say it out loud.
10 Rec podcast.
Aw. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're pretty good at this, right?
I've never.
Chat, we're pretty good at this. We should keep doing this, right, chat?
Jeez. It's a podcast. You don't mention chat.
That's true. I can't break the fourth wall. Fourth wall might be broken.
The
with this tech
immersion. Oh, hello. We're back in. All right.
Just like old times.
Whew. But early utility dump outside A main. Proves very little information to be found. BCJ? Oh, no, never mind. Not BCJ. That's gonna be Nico Machine. Flash available. Quick entry on the A.
Wow. Very quick. All nice. Wow. Yeah, they didn't want to waste another second. Beat our producers even to the punch. They'll absolutely destroy. Nismo's null command, I think he spent more time dead than alive.
It's like how people spend a third of their lives sleeping.
That's crazy.
Xander. Wow!
Sure. Wow!
That is some psychic awareness right there from Dante.
Yeah, his spidey sense was tingling that time.
Whoa!
Woo! Close one. Could have been a 1v1 real quick. Instead, it's 11-9. It's All Night's 2 rounds out with this balls to the wall play style that we're seeing. And we say, it seems like we say that every time. Like, okay, these guys are kicking it up a notch, okay? But they really are doing that every time to the point where we gotta stop again. M80, now make the call. We need another reset.
I'm really curious to see what the changes will be after this timeout. We didn't get to see the entirety of the early round, and I'm curious to see if it's going to be more of a stall factor against All Night from just getting past that initial A choke to get onto site. That has been a big point of contention between the two. But M80 too, on that same token, they've been really good at their post plans. Obviously at this point All Night, they're focusing more so on winning these early fights, taking that extra space, making sure that the retakes from M80 can't even start, and if they do, it's limping in with 2 or 3 bodies left. So M80, they're gonna have to pull out some real shenanigans to ensure that they can win a solid retake again.
It's gonna take, it's gonna take a heavy resource dump this round to even get you over the line. Such a tough ask for M80 this late in to a map that they really wanted to be the one to close it out. Their choice. Nismo will get assaulted on the A front line simply to absorb all of that util and force AK to reconsider earlier than before. No belt presence this round, and M80 seems like they've been able to siphon the right way, at least early on.
Owl drone. Valuable information. Sabando does have that Viper's pit. Net might be waiting for that pit to go down before releasing the lockdown. Falls huge. Oh, the push is in! Huge
What a nasty push.
down.
Double controllers. Still
M80,
traded out.
this isn't even their whole roster. Net is way far away, taking mid control to deny the rotate. All Night are trapped inside.
Yeah, Net doesn't even need to go any farther than this. Oh, but
don't
AK
know.
are playing heavy control. They know they have to walk into the site. And they feel pretty safe about at least getting on, taking this yellow space, knowing that they won't be super duper
30
forward.
seconds left.
And with a pit in the pocket, Sabando can play the long game even longer. Adverso, huge extension to Nismo. Now on the double back, this is risky. Punished, no, Xander flubs! Adverso still inserted, and Nismo past the prime. Net in the 1v1 of his life to hold on to M80's chances of Icebox slipping away. And Adverso Sova racking up kills this round like it's nothing. Nismo 1v3 to potentially save this map, save this team from having to go to 3, from already a debuff in the group stage rankings. But there's no way in and no way out. Adverso will finally fall, but so will M80's chances of not going to overtime, if not map 3.
The beginning of something devious there for Nismo unfortunately did not amount to a whole lot towards the end. A fight for overtime now would be wild. Both teams on the precipice of winning their own map picks. And again, M80, this is a map that everyone thinks about when you think of the team. And them not able to convert these rounds handedly. You know, there was a reality, maybe a small one, definitely at this point, that this could have been a quick match. These are two maps that we've seen M80 play on so many times and do well. And now they're going deep into the strat book. A triple cross inside of mid, quadruple, no less, with kitchen control of Nismo. And it's a split push from All Night. Spike is available B main. There is the potential of dumping utility early on, and Xander's on the way outside B main. It's really gonna be the call of this Viper wall, won't it? The rotate's been called through mid. No one's watching for the cross from M80. They're all so far back.
They're so dialed down. They're going POI by POI.
It's gotta be pure retake, right? Huge information.
Wow, Koala Noob. Great timing on that. With no more time for All Nights to reconsider, they'll simply fake
It's you
to try
and
to
me.
ward out some gameplay. There's the ISO ult. BCJ, a victim, but not for long. Winning the duel, and Dante's ISO pick is quickly slipping through his fingers. M80 still very much in this game. BCJ, no less. And now with an ult to call his own too. Xander, a revenge round to get himself back on the board. 2 kills so far down. And Tinshoff, not a challenge for the remainder of M80, at least this round. Surely not. Wingman will get silenced halfway down in a 1v2, and I fear I've spoken too soon. The double down, though. M80 find the lineup and the round. 2 out from extending.
Huge Omenal coming out from Koala. The fact that you could find the information just before the execute gave tell that there was no misunderstanding, no fake A plays whatsoever. Immediately, a team that was just waiting for that first or that big move from All Nights to get onto a site could be made so much earlier to get that extra space as soon as the spike would go down. No time to dilly-dally and re-clear spaces such as kitchen. It was immediately directly head on. Big importance too, though, is Dante losing the ISO 1v1. The first time I believe it's happened so far this match. And AK, they played so slow. Owl drones out, does not find a lot of info early on, may have spotted the alarm bot. And then you have Sabando watching for the cross back over, facing the Viper wall, I believe. But Xander is just so on it right now with these timings of his utility.
Lockdown for lockdown. Does All Nights press? Seems a little bit. Nico is very up to let the wingman go, but it's just into the pit. Xander having to wait it out. Are they going to be able to find him in time here? Doesn't seem like it. They're too scared to get in the pit. They can't get inside safely. They've got a util dump too much, and by this time the rest of M80 is here. BCJ opening pick before getting traded away. And All Nights have got to swarm the pit. They've got to deal with Xander first, and they're just unable to. Too much space, too much time for M80 to come collect. They will get everything they need, and then some. Keep at least 2 stable here if they're lucky. Sabando has a lot of juice left, and a good reason to play this slow 25 seconds to maybe find something to call his own, but M80 will lock in and bring us to 12-11.
M80 are finding their groove once again. Not overcommitting early round, hiding away. And this is one thing that we noticed a
10
lot in our
seconds left.
VOD reviews of All Nights getting into this tournament is that oftentimes you won't see...
No time.
You will see this team stacking together. Round after round, very little lurking. And now the only one left needs to lurk and push aggressively here. A stack up, great audio found.
Yep.
Huge. Did he count the number of footsteps? He may have, that's 3.
He had to have. Knows where they could be snaking.
Toxin screen down.
One of your only chances to seal this map and take us to 3. Do we go to Lotus? The onus is on Sabando. First opportunity gone. That might be the only one you get. Barely any HP and so much in the way. M80, 1 round out from keeping this party going.
And look, if you're a fan of M80, you don't have to change the strats whatsoever. It's all the onus on All Knights to figure out what can they possibly do at this point. They're struggling to win these gunfights when M80 is so dialed back. What could be advantageous angles? Top of Nest, for example, right? Should have been enough to remove Nismo. Way back screens, but it wasn't. A 1-round difference. I mean, these matches have been close. And M80 have gone through the trenches to bring back these leads. 2 maps now. 2 defuses in a row. The most consistent factor for them in this defense has been securing them. But this is aggressive. They're changing the pace. They tried to. They found their contact. Do they continue to push up?
I cannot use that.
Big decision for Adverso, just to clear the board.
Voila.
What a fun hole that Dante finds! That's rough, buddy. But the gang's all here. AK's ready to play, M80's ready to play. See if we go to map 3 or overtime. Ah, rough start for map 3. Nismo catches Dante's dome. And now you can play keep away. Now you can play for the retake with so much more confidence.
Body. Flash surely gone a ways now. The op cannot push into that, right? Spike still needs to go down too. 40 seconds left. That'll turn to the timer once more. No ults available, but Nismo has plenty of flashes. Xander has the snake bite to work with.
Last player standing.
More there. Oh, Nico, okay. Nice weave back. Not gonna happen. An M80, again, enough manpower by the end game. Much better discipline among this defensive squad. Just in time to swap sides.
This was the scary sign.
Switching sides. Overtime.
M80 again, pushing power for both these teams is not so great. You don't have your Jets, you don't have your Neons this time. You have ISO as the only duelist on the server. And that doesn't belong to M80. They had to work together again as a team. And that Viper Wall B was so imperative for both teams to spray through to find those opening picks B-side post-plant. You have to wonder what changes will exist.
Yeah, there's not much to change. That's the rough thing about Icebox. But with M80 back on the attack, I would hope to see a different strategy from Xander movement-wise.
It's gotta be more work.
Yeah, that's what I feel like it's gotta be.
Winning the round.
Yeah.
Now they're on the defense. This should surefire be the 2-0, right? All Knights will have to make a drastic adjustment.
It must be. And however many ears may be able to hear us at whatever time this round
We were
commences.
locked in ISO ult.
If you can hear us, then you can hear M80 inches away from their first win. And then they're off tomorrow. This match is on an island for M80's sake as well, so this was the kickoff, and they're hoping it's smooth sailing from here. But these teams are locked and loaded, and All Knight's attack is one not to trifle with. 1 for 1 as Savando inches on. M80, the brigade attempting to fight back initially here, but AK are able to segment the fights and isolate all defenders.
Xander.
The only one left and can't do much about it.
Run.
All Knights seemingly have us swimming in attack as M80 did.
Switching sides.
And hi guys,
Overtime.
we're going OT too. Did you hear?
Oh boy. Whew. I mean, look, at this point, we're in the reverse zone. M80 surely should have had that defense round in their back pockets, but they weren't able to. Instead, Hollow Knights, they won all the gunfights they needed directly in the middle of sight. Now 13-13. We weren't quite sure what happened on the initial overtime round, but now we get to see potentially a repeat. Split push once again towards B site. It was a default towards mid the last time we had seen it, so surely different this time around.
Yeah, how nice of them to reenact the rounds that we missed.
It's like a play.
Oh, big cut after Dante's easily flashed. think he might be getting a little tired. Understandable. The endurance game again, wearing away and looking for that gamble on the dry swing. Tinchoff still uncontested so far, though, but Xander, perfect reveal. 4v2 for M80's attack as they look to once again keep it clean. And Verso already divided and conquered. Shouldn't be too difficult from there.
Left.
Tinchoff, couple clutches in his day, but none against M80. That trend will continue, and so will the lead for the favorite.
It's been the battle of the attacking sides. Not a single defense round has been won just yet. This is M80's chance now. It was the approach back to A site before. Is All Knight's gonna wanna go A again? They themselves may try to work through mid, a split push even maybe towards B. There's a lot of options on the table than just brute forcing your way in. It's been the side that we've seen from them. Remember, they too don't have any space creating duelists. They have an ISO. ISO won't be able to get their ult immediately into the round, but you do get halfway. Instead, a potential start to the split push with the immediate contingency is a good start. Forces M80 off. But look at Xander pushing up. This is different. An aggressive lurk.
Yeah, he's
won't catch out Sabando.
Okay, now not anymore. I was scared for a second for him.
Oh, audio? Audio.
Poison orb emitting.
This is really big. Xander has to be good for... Oh, it's an insert.
The wall.
And a cell! M80's at B! M80's moving to B!
Poison's off.
That didn't spot Sabando?
We're not... Okay. And he's leaving. Okay, AK, they won't commit. M80, the cell is expired, so they'll head back to A. And we'll start all over again. A lot of 6D chess, I guess we'll say.
The idea is that you would over-rotate into B site, but M80 have different plans. They know full well what All Night is trying to do.
CJ the spray into the alarm bot as it's procced, and AK begin the ascent. Takes a moment with the double util dump, but they're posted up. And Dante's electric, good for one, but M80, their entrance is quick. And at Verso, his HP is apparently low, enough to make it a very quick 3v2. M80, 2 kills out from wrapping this match up at a 2-0. And they have a toxic screen to assist them. First tap as Xander gets the do-si-do. Going in from there, a high-low is all you need. M80 took a village, took a while, but it took M80. They will win their first match of the group stage.
I'm pretty sure it took close to 80 rounds for them to close out this series. Already redefining history, a flawless start so far for them in their run of Ascension. M80, you can tell teams have done their homework against them already. This is not going to be an easy journey for the team that is under a microscope from everybody on every single map. Could be a good warning for them that they have to be very careful as they continue on.
Yeah, the road is not exactly better paved. You've got Rada next in the pool for M80, followed by Galaris. Won't even face off against TSM until Friday, I think. A long road ahead for the favorites, but it begins with a victory. Big congrats to M80, but I mean, we cannot speak enough about the credit we need to give All Knights today. We expected them to have some rousing performances. We expected Dante to go frankly crazy. We did not expect a game this close at all.
No, by no means. And again, this is the Titan going to the tournament, the number 1 seed, the only number 1 seed to win out today in our 3 best-of-3 matches. I mean, it's an achievement in of itself, I suppose, but look, if this is the start to Ascension, I can only imagine how much more difficult every single match will be from here on out. But our brains, they are fried from the M80s that have happened and from all the All Knights that have fried their way through this matchup. We gotta hear it from the desk and see what happened.
These two saying their brains are fried over one series. It was a great series. Do they not remember the TSM Gallery series? Come on, you two. But hey, we've been here for the long haul, and finally, it gets closed out. M80 to take the series 2-0. Looking on forward when I think back to the series, because now AK, they are going to be starting off the group stage with this loss, but it'll always have to be said on how close this was. It was a 0-2, but overtime on both, a fight they really took to M80 on their best map. And I mean, M80, they pulled it out in the end, but what a way to kick off Ascension.
Yeah, this was an amazing matchup, and a part of me kind of feels sad for All Knights because I feel like they should have won this series, as weird as that is to say, because they played extremely well from start to finish. But M80 did claw back a lot of the rounds. They kept their composure, and it really was this sort of level of experience that we're expecting from M80. And then when we talk about experience, this is what we're referring to. It's the grit, it's the resilience, it's the ability to stay in the game even when a lot of unfortunate situations are being lost.
Yeah, and resiliency for playing it this hour too, but great stuff coming out from the team. The double OT, I mean, I just want to get to the stats because I'm looking at this. I mean, M80, I mean, the amount of times that over on the desk we're like, oh my goodness, Xander's absolutely popping off right now. 28-20, yep, this checks out. And even though we had talked about some of the flashy plays that we got to see from Dante and we got to see these step-ups, it was adverso for AK here, Emily, that was honestly like a silent killer in all of this.
You know what? Yeah, he was a silent killer. I don't recall too many crucial rounds, so that's good on him. He was doing his job as a Sova, getting the info needed. But Xander, for me, Koala noob as well. He wasn't afraid. It's really difficult this late in the game for you to just have the confidence to go in and try to get those first bloods. And we were seeing these players not be afraid for that. There was a shotgun round from Xander in round 15, going in there and instantly denying whatever plan All Knights had. And BCJ also, I think he went 2 for 2 on those 1v1 fights. So that was exciting to watch.
Yeah, I had a little asterisk if this was a different scenario and we were talking about All Knights winning and got to show some cool Dante replays. I had a little asterisk of, could not take down BCJ because BCJ in those 1v1s was just absolutely popping off. But got to see a nice little pop-off from everyone for M80 Roy, which was a nice way to be ending off the night.
Yeah, you guys know that meme where it's like adverso, boring player. You know, 10's very flicky player, but you never remember an adverso kill, but you press tab and he has 30 kills. That I feel like that literally is the meme. And he had so many impactful plays, and there's so many rounds where he went huge. And I part of me feel like my heart breaks for him because he really did try his best to close out the series for his team, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Oh my God, again.
I have to do it for the one time. I had to do it for the one time.
Would it then be a 2-time? But I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But they're bringing it back for the one time. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. But we are going to be able to have a winner's interview with the victorious M80. So short break before that. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, how you doing? I'm here with Koala. He won our third match today and his first match with M80. I imagine that you guys are really, really happy. How are you feeling right now?
I'm personally very, very excited. My team was very hyped. We're all very happy. We're going to take a nice dinner, and yeah, we're just very happy.
I imagine that you guys are tired and just looking forward for this dinner. So the first question I want to ask is, how did you guys prepare for this Ascension? Did you guys focus more on your team, on other teams? Like, what was these last months for you?
We obviously took a look at all the teams. We wanted to see what we were up against, what our opponents like. Noticing tendencies and everything that they like to do, like we're of course going to take note of that. But to be honest, we're very confident in ourselves and we really trust our game. So we're just going to do what we did, what that got us through North American playoffs, and we're just going to keep doing our thing. Because to be honest, I don't think there's anything that we need to change that much.
Great. So last question is, we know that you are a really flexible player. You play a lot of agents. How is it? Do you like that? Do you like playing a lot of agents? And also, how does that work for your team? How, like, this idea came up for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously being on Duelist would be like the most ideal for me because I've been a Duelist main my entire time playing Valorant. But I'm a very hard worker. My team has full trust in me, and we like to experiment stuff. And generally, the Duelist role is probably the most flexible. So, like, some maps you don't really need a Duelist. And when we start thinking about, like, other comps and stuff, like, we look at me first, like, do we need Johnny on Duelist? And when they tell me to try something, I go into the server, I work hard, I watch VODs. I want to try to be as flexible as possible. Like, my plan is to be with M80 my entire career. I want to win with them. But if for some reason I have to go to a different team, I want to be able to be very flexible and not just a Duelist player. Yeah.
Well, that's it for us, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. And we're going back to the live stream.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
They definitely deserve a nice dinner after that victory, but like dinner this hour, like I'm ready for bed. Like they're crazy, but it's glad it's nice to see, Roy, that spirits are high after taking that win for M80 here to be kicking off the group stage right.
Yeah, could you imagine how bad the vibes would be if they had such a hard-fought battle and ended up losing in the end? I mean, that doesn't happen for one team, I guess, but I'm speaking strictly for M80 at this point. So I think they're going to enjoy their dinner. They're happy with the results. I mean, All Nice put up a pretty awesome performance here, and I think they really showed that they're, there's a reason why they're in this tournament. There's a reason why they're in the best of these regions, and yeah.
And I mean, when you're talking about, they're showing that they could be one of the best, but looking back on the day, even if we did get 2-0s, the way these 2-0s happened, really showing that everyone really showed up to play Emily, and that when we're looking at kind of the expectations of how Ascensions was going, you can't get too comfortable in what you think you know, because the teams will surprise you.
Hey, I just want to point out that I was the only one that made a prediction that 2G was going to beat Rita. Okay, everybody else doubted, but I didn't. And I just want this to, show that we were talking about these are groups. Everybody plays everyone. Yes, there's seedings, first and second from your region, but at the end of the day, everybody has the equal playing field here.
Yeah, and we still have a lot of group stage matches ahead of us. And tomorrow is going to be a great day. It's been a long one today, so we only got the 2 matches tomorrow. You still have to be, getting your rest beforehand, but it's going to be TSM going up against Reddit Esports first to see if TSM can continue the winning streak or Reddit can turn things around. Next up, Galleries going up against All Nights. Both teams that really did show up today, but neither could close out. We'll see if they can make the adjustments and who can get that first win for them. But that is unfortunately it for us today. Too bad we don't have a 4th best of 3, but we do have to end this eventually. Emily, Roy, it's been awesome. Production, you're awesome. The casters have all crushed it. And if you're still here, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for the next day of VCT Ascension Americas. Have a great night.
remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike down. C.
Off your feet!
One enemy remaining.